We begin live broadcast with a news alert coming in. Reports coming in of a shooting incident at U.S. military base in Hawaii, as at least some people have been injured, two of them critically, after a gunman opened fire at the joint U.S. military base Pearl Harbor-Hickam in Hawaii. The suspect has since been secured. Now, the U.S. joint base is under lockdown since the shooting incident. The security forces have responded, and they responded immediately to the shooting incident that occurred at approximately 2:30 p.m. local time. All access gates to the base have been closed since then. You can see the joint base Pearl Harbor-Hickam's tweet that was sent out announcing the security forces have responded to this shooting. Now, Joint Base Pearl Harbor-Hickam is a combined U.S. Air Force and Navy installation located 13 kilometers from Honolulu. The incident comes 3 days before the 78th anniversary of the Japanese sneak attack on the United States Naval base at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, back in 1941. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump did not mince his words while speaking about the Canadian Prime Minister in a press conference. A reporter asked the President about the footage of Justin Trudeau making jokes that went viral overnight, to which Trump responded by saying that the Canadian Prime Minister is, quote unquote, two-faced. Listen to what the U.S. President had to say about the Canadian Prime Minister.
Well, he's two-faced.
Do you think that Germany is too naive?
And honestly, with Trudeau, he's a nice guy. I find him to be a very nice guy. But, you know, the truth is that I called him out on the fact that he's not paying 2%. And I guess he's not very happy about it. I mean, you were there, a couple of you were there, and he's not paying 2%, and he should be paying 2%. It's Canada, they have money, and they should be paying 2%. So I called him out on that, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it, but that's the way it is. Look, I'm representing the U.S.
Trump's first public reaction showed he was unhappy with that video surfacing where the Canadian Prime Minister is apparently making jokes at his expense. The U.S. President went on to say that he had called out Canadian Prime Minister for failing to meet the target of spending 2% of national output on defence, and said that Trudeau was two-faced for commenting, and he appeared to have these comments were made about Donald Trump. Now, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has agreed to the fact that they were talking about Donald Trump when the hot mic captured him. Addressing journalists at the end of the NATO summit, Trudeau confirmed he was referring to Trump's impromptu press conference ahead of a meeting between the two leaders.
Last night I made a reference to the fact that there was an unscheduled press conference before my meeting with President Trump, and I was happy to take part of it, but it was certainly notable. And I've had a number of good conversations with the President over the course of this day and yesterday.
And so the reception hosted by the Queen at Buckingham Palace made news. A video which appears to show Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and French President Emmanuel Macron mocking Donald Trump has gone viral overnight. Let's have a look at the video which made the US President upset. Who says politicians don't gossip? But there's more than gossip that is plaguing Donald Trump. 4 constitutional law experts testified before the panel as the impeachment hearings moved to the House Judiciary Committee. Laying out the groundwork for formal charges against President Donald Trump, the Judiciary Committee opened to an epic bipartisan clash between the Democrats and the Republicans. 3 out of the 4 legal experts told the U.S. lawmakers that Trump pressing Ukraine to investigate his political rivals was indeed an impeachable offense. It is important to note that these 3 experts were chosen by the Democrats. Heard from the four law professors, the first hearing was to examine whether Trump's actions qualify as the high crimes and misdemeanors punishable by impeachment under the US Constitution or not. So what did these four legal experts have to say? Listen in.
On the basis of the testimony and the evidence before the House, President Trump has committed impeachable high crimes and misdemeanors by corruptly abusing the office of the presidency. Specifically, President Trump has abused his office by corruptly soliciting President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine to announce investigations of his political rivals in order to gain personal advantage, including in the 2020 presidential election.
The very idea that a president might seek the aid of a foreign government in his re-election campaign would have horrified them. But based on the evidentiary record, that is what President Trump has done. The list of impeachable offenses that the framers included in the Constitution shows that the essence of an impeachable offense is a president's decision to sacrifice the national interest for his own private ends.
Impeachable offenses don't have to be criminal offenses, as you well know. And so what we're talking about is an abuse of power. And we're talking about an abuse of power that only the president can commit.
While three of them agreed that Trump could indeed be impeached, Turley, chosen by the Republicans, dissented, saying that this impeachment sets a dangerous precedent for further such impeachments.
I'm not a supporter of President Trump. I voted against him. My personal views of President Trump are as irrelevant to my impeachment testimony as they should be to your impeachment vote. President Trump will not be our last president, and what we leave in the wake of this scandal will shape our democracy for generations to come. I'm concerned about lowering impeachment standards to fit a paucity of evidence and an abundance of anger. I believe this impeachment not only fails to satisfy the standard of past impeachments, but would create a dangerous precedent for future impeachments.
So what were the key takeaways from the hearing? Three of the four legal experts called Trump actions impeachable. The witnesses said that Trump provides extreme example of impeachable conduct. Democrats laid out impeachment roadmap outlining the alleged offenses that could form the basis for formal articles of impeachment. Republicans, on the other hand, slammed impeachment claims, accusing Democrats of moving forward on impeachment without gathering sufficient evidence. The hearing turned into a clash between the two parties, showing strong partisan disconnect. The Judiciary Committee has not announced additional hearings, but the White House has until 6th December to notify whether Trump's lawyers wish to participate in the proceedings or not. So what's next for Donald Trump? The House Judiciary Committee is expected to soon announce future hearings. This includes the testimony from the attorneys for the Republicans and Democrats on the committee. After that, the Judiciary Committee will likely draw up articles of impeachment and vote on them. The Democrats are keen to hold a vote on impeachment in the House of Representatives before the end of the year, with the prospect of a trial in the Senate perhaps as early as January next year.
Overwhelming consensus of the American. We're on to the 5-minute rule, and I recognize Mr.
Let's now shift our attention over to France, where thousands of people are expected to gather in the streets of Paris. A nationwide protest has been planned against President Emmanuel Macron's pension reforms. Railway workers, teachers, doctors and others are up in arms after the government vowed to change the current pension scheme for a universal points-based system. Workers are lashing out at France's 42-state pension system, fearing that they will have to work longer and earn less upon retirement. Teachers could be amongst the hardest hit if the proposed reform is enforced.
Je ferai grève 3 semaines s'il le faut. Et voilà, j'ai pas un magot sur mon compte en banque. Voilà, j'ai qu'un salaire de cheminot. Je suis agent de maîtrise à la SNCF. Voilà, je gagne 2400 € par mois et j'ai 39 ans de boîte. Bon, il n'y a pas, voilà, très sincèrement, au bout de 39 ans de boîte, il y a pas, j'ai volé personne, quoi.
Transport systems are expected to face the brunt as flights, trains and buses have been cancelled. Air France has said that about 30% of its domestic flights will be cancelled. The services are shut down for an indefinite time period. Police has ordered all buses, cafes and restaurants to remain closed along the route of the rally.